To pull a wall of a cylinder, you need to make sure the outside and inside of your piece are properly hydrated. Touch first to see what it feels like before you set your hands. The inside hand, you're throwing against the side of your index finger. The outside hand, you want to have 2 steady points of even contact straight down to the bat. Make a small impression in the side of the piece. And then you're going to slowly move up with your hands together. They should be moving at the same rate. Your hands are not moving very fast. Your hands are moving slow. You're not physically pulling up the clay so much as gently squeezing it, and it's shooting upwards because you have a squeeze that's lower than the bulk of the clay. So it has nowhere else to go besides up. When you get to the top, pause, slowly and gently release your clay, right? It's really important to release gently. If you get little chunks of clay on your fingers, get them off of you, okay? You should not have slippy, chunky bits on your fingers. The strength of your piece lies in your rim, so make sure your rim is slightly hydrated. Support the inside wall with the finger, the outside wall with a thumb, and you're going to drape the sponge over the edge and add pressure. You're not pushing on the rim with your hand. You're draping the sponge over and letting the sponge add the pressure. Okay, we're hydrating the piece. We're going to do another pull, going straight down, adding pressure. And notice how the thumbs and the back touch. That's going to allow the hands to go upwards at the same rate. And it's also going to help keep your hands equidistant from each other. That's key, is when you keep your fingers the same distance from one another, it's going to help make sure your wall is the right thickness or thinness. If you press firmly together in a pinch and then you release that pinch, you're creating thick spots and thin spots. So you got to keep that pressure the same consistent pressure throughout the entire pull. So again, pressure down low, inside hand is slightly higher than the outside hand. You're adding medium amounts of pressure and your hand should be moving upwards at the same rate. When you get to the top, your inside hand is going to pause at the rim, your outside hand is going to come up and join, and you need to compress that rim. Okay, support the inside wall and the outside wall, and then use the sponge to drape over the rim and press on the sides of the sponge to compress the rim. Here's another pull. Okay, and I want you to notice that the thumb on the inside hand can't reach the other thumb, so it's touching the hand itself. And they're going to move up together. When you let your hands touch each other, it gives you a better idea of where you are in space as in a relationship to your other hand. So you might have to practice running your fingers along tabletops so that we can practice keeping your hands the same distance. If you notice in this video, there's a slight amount of torsion in the middle. If you go slow, you can move clay upward and then start to release pressure where that torsion is, and that's going to re-thicken that wall and remove some of that torsion or that twisting. Okay? And the reason it was twisting is it was a little thin in that midsection and the rim was a little too thick. Okay, compressing the rim. Remove water from the inside of your piece regularly. Standing water will weaken your piece.